Development in the James Cook saga. As many of you know, a couple of weeks ago, James Cook took to Instagram Live and he pinned a comment that said $15 million. A lot of speculation as into, oh my God, can the Buffalo Bills afford to pay James Cook $15 million? Secondary question, should we pay James Cook $15 million? We didn't know his overall intentions, but last night he joined Nightcap, Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco's podcast. And he ended up putting out a little soundbite that we are going to read, we are going to react to, and then further discuss. Because James Cook has been a massive topic on this Buffalo Bills roster and this offseason, rather, ever since that Instagram Live took to the internet. Welcome, everybody, in. I do want to say my name is Dan Mitchell. I am an NFL content creator. I am the largest Buffalo Bills content creator on the internet across all platforms. And I am so thankful that you have decided to join me today. If you are watching the replay of this video, I highly suggest that you subscribe and you turn on bell notifications because we have built a hell of a damn live chat community for the past 5 years. All of these shows are recorded live. And if you ever want to be a part of our live chat community, I highly suggest that you subscribe and turn on bell notifications so you can join us live next time, man. Listen, I got to give a giant shout out to one of our proud sponsors today, and that just so happens to be Kalshi. Folks, Kalshi is the prediction market. And say, for example, that you want to bet on literally everything on the face of the planet. Literally everything, all right? I'm talking politics, I'm talking crypto, I'm talking weather, companies, tech, and science. Kalshi is the place to go, all right? They just ended up launching sports. So say, for example, that you are a gambling man with basketball, with soccer, with tennis, golf, football, hockey, Formula One, video games, for the love of God. Definitely go ahead and check out Kalshi and use code Don Mafia. That is one word, Don Mafia, DONMAFIA, for all of your thoughts. What will Trump say in his speech about the State of the Union on March 4th? Drill, baby, drill, Greenland. Oh, my God. I'm going to take yes on that one, baby. You have no idea what that's going to look like. But regardless, shout out to Kalshi. And without further ado, let's go on ahead and dive into the article that was just shared about Shannon Sharpe, the Nightcap, and James Cook. Smash that like button for me, guys. Easiest way to show some love over here. Let's go ahead and get well over 100 like buttons on today's episode. But as we've said, James Cook broke his silence after the Instagram Live. And moral of the story, he was not joking around when he said $15 million. He genuinely believes that that is what he is worth in 2025. But as we scroll down, we can get a good understanding of everything that he ultimately ended up saying. So, started off, and Cook says that he believes that running backs have proven themselves to be valuable, and their compensation should reflect the role that they play on winning teams. When it came to his own demands, Cook said, I just want to get what I deserve, and that he doesn't want that desire to create any negative waves around the team. I'm going to stand on what I stand on. I don't want to feel like a cancer at all because I don't like that attention. That's not me. Honestly, I'm just standing on businessman and what I deserve. So we have the full snippet right here. For those of you that want to react to it online, you can go ahead and you can screenshot this portion of the video. But this is what James Cook had to say on the Nightcap. Now, right before we end up getting to the live chat and hearing their thoughts, I do want to come out and say that I am a man of perspective. Right. And I always like looking at these contract debates between players and NFL organizations a different way from, I would say, the normal fan. I like to look at an NFL organization as a job, and I also like to look at a player as an employee. Let's pretend that you are working construction for a contractor in Buffalo, for example, right? You have a specific set of responsibilities and you were paid, let's say, $40 an hour, right? But then you also have a buddy that you went to high school with. He does the exact same thing, but he works for a different contractor, right? And he is getting paid $80 an hour, and he does the exact same thing. So you are just like, you know what? I have a family that I need to support. I have dreams of my own, financial goals of my own. So I am going to go to my boss, and I'm going to say, hey, man, listen, my value is worth $80 an hour rather than the 40 that you pay me. I don't want to leave and go to a different company because I know that I ended up signing a contract with you, but I need to make sure that I can get around there because that guy that I was talking to down the street's making $80 an hour, and we need to at least align here. Like, let's go ahead and get that. So I think one of the common misconceptions between a player and also a team is that they have zero. I am talking absolute zero loyalty to any city. Guys, like, they are all businessmen. They all have a set of specific financial goals, and they are just as inherently important to them as anybody that has a common work or a common job that always wants to be paid their overall value, at least their internal overall value, right? So I'm not mad at James Cook for doing this because I don't think that this is a different behavior than any of us have ever demonstrated in our professional lives. It's not different, right? Like, the Buffalo Bills are the employer of James Cook. And James Cook wants a raise because he genuinely believes that he contributed quite a bit last year. And he's also looking around the league. He's seeing some players that have these crazy contracts, blah, blah, blah. He's like, listen, I want that. Okay. So I'm not mad at James Cook for wanting this cash. I am not whatsoever. But the question is, how much? Is it truly that market value, right? Like, here's the deal. Let's go on ahead and take a look at James Cook's market value according to Spot Track, because I think this is going to be eye-opening. And keep in mind that the running back market for the past couple of years has been pretty low. Like, we have the highest paid running back in the league in Christian McCaffrey, $19 million per year. Saquon Barkley's at $12.5 million per year. I want to say that Derrick Henry's at 9, maybe 10, one of the two. But anyway, let's go ahead and pull up what James Cook is worth according to Spot Track, our handy dandy Spot Track. If you are a cap nerd, or if you like having a good understanding of specific cap space, highly recommend you check this out. And no, this is not a brand deal. This is just something that I absolutely love. It's free as well. So definitely check this out. However, it seems like Spot Track and James Cook are not on the same page as far as his specific market value. We are looking at $10.2 million average annual salary, a 4-year, $40.8 million contract. Average salary is at about $10.2 million. NFL rank 210th, running back rank there. And Spot Track also does this super cool thing when they calculate the overall market values. They like to put down comparable players based off of production and also at the age in which that they sign their contract. And they have Mr. Josh Jacobs, and they have David Montgomery, they have Tony Pollard, and they have Saquon Barkley there as well for the 3 length. He was paid 12.5. That's Saquon. Pollard was at 7.2. Montgomery was at about 9.1, and Josh Jacobs was at around 12. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that James Cook deserves significantly more than Tony Pollard. I think there's no question there. I also think that he deserves more than David Montgomery, so I'm not mad about that. Josh Jacobs at 12 million. I think that he should be aligned with Josh Jacobs. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that where James Cook is in his career at the ripe age of 25, he'll be 26 next year. I think this is a sweet spot. I genuinely think that this is a sweet spot. And then Saquon Barkley's at 12.5. And trust me, Saquon Barkley is worth significantly more than this. I think that Saquon ultimately ended up taking this deal because of, number one, the guarantees, and then number two, his soul was absolutely drained for playing for the New York Giants for the beginning of his career. And he just wanted to go out and taste what winning looked like, for the love of damn God, baby. Holy hell. Holy hell, man. But anyway, this is the market value of what we can take a look at. And then I also want to show you guys what James Cook has been able to bring to the table, right? Career stats. Let's take a look. Obviously, this year, he was able to crack quite a bit. So we have this. We have James Cook, 1,000 yards in 2024, had 1,100 yards on the ground in 2023. And then this is not including all of the stats that he has been able to put up in the pass game. And then his rookie season, he had about 507 yards. But remember, he was RB2 behind Devin Singletary. And what I found, which is really intriguing, guys, is that you look at this player, he's at 10.2 million average salary, market value, and you compare it to a gentleman by the name of Najee Harris. Let me go ahead and get this real fast. Let me get a Najee Harris situation. Let's go Najee Harris. Because I was looking at this and I ultimately ended up doing a free agent profile on this guy. And I think you guys are probably going to be pretty intrigued by this. But with Najee Harris, he's going to be 27 next year. And his market value is sitting at $9.2 million per year, 3 years, $27 million. And when you also look at Najee Harris's career stats, let's go Harris career stats. Let's do that. Perfect. You go down there, and then we see 4 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. And the touchdowns obviously aren't anywhere near, of course, with James Cook. But it appears that what Spot Track and what the statistics demonstrate is that what James Cook should be looking for should be almost the exact same contract that Najee Harris is looking for. Now, listen, this conversation would have been a hell of a lot different, right? And I think if you reflected back on one of my original episodes when I was talking about this James Cook $15 million a year, I think my entire tune would have remained the same, if not for the announcement that the NFL salary cap is skyrocketing almost over $30 million compared to last year. We'll see what Brandon Beane does because, again, we have quite a few moves that need to be made, right? Like, we are not going to pay the full amount for Gregory Rousseau's 5th-year option. We simply are not. He is going to be an extension candidate, if not to retain him, but exclusively to free up some more money so we can find some other deals here and there. Same thing with Benford, same thing with Bernard, same thing with Khalil Shakir, same thing with a Josh Allen looming extension as well. There are a lot of players that are on the board for potentially getting a contract this offseason. So there's going to have to be some difficult conversations. Some people are going to have to wait until next offseason when they are a looming unrestricted free agent, and others are going to have to be paid. It just depends on how Brandon Beane prioritizes things. So I don't know. Folks, I am going to move over to the chat now, see how everybody in my lovely live chat community is doing this afternoon. Guys, if you are watching the replay of this video, this is the portion of my show where I go over to the chat and we start talking to people and getting their thoughts about the topic of the day. So again, make sure you turn those bell notifications on when you subscribe because I want to find new faces each and every single time that I go live. Walk Off Sports is coming in. Walk Off Sports, what's going on, man? Hope you are having a wonderful Friday morning. Save the money and use Ray Davis and Ty Johnson. Maybe pick up another free agent that is much cheaper. So here's the thing. We still have James Cook under contract in 2025, right? He's set to hit, I think, $3-4 million salary to begin with. And get this, guys, right? Whether or not that it's $15 million, whether or not that it's 12.5, 13, right? Like, what would happen if we do end up extending James Cook this offseason? It only helps the amount of money that we can spend this year in 2025, right? Even if it's marginal. And I would not have been as happy if I didn't see the news that the salary cap jumped up about $30 million this year. And by the way, that league viewership is trending with all of these streaming services that are picking up their overall spots for fans to watch the NFL. A lot of projections are looking to be in like 4 to 5 years. We could be looking at a salary cap at around $400 million. So if we do extend all of these guys to like 3 to 4 year deals and we put their base salary down to $1.2 million, right? But their signing bonus absolutely just goes nuts on everything. It might help us. It might help us, man. Listen, it's not going to screw the Buffalo Bills, especially with how all of this salary cap is trending in a massive direction. If, for example, that Buffalo wanted to walk away from James Cook, they're like, hey, you know what, man? Like, we can trade you. If, for example, you want to find a team that is willing to give you that sort of contract in 2025, then there are some free agents, right? Like, we just looked at Najee Harris. Like, he's like at $9.2 million market value for a 3-year deal. And there's also J.K. Dobbins as well. He is a pending free agent. There are certain certainly some options. And whether or not that we wanted to, hey, you know what? Whether or not that we wanted to do that, but for me, 15 million a year really doesn't scare me like that much anymore. It doesn't, man. Like, look at how much this NFL cap is growing each and every single year. I think that we can get away with it. I think that we can get away with it. But you know what? It's not up to me. It's up to Brandon Beane in the front office and how they value this. What's up, my boy Dan? It's time to trade James Cook. I can't pay that man more than Saquon. Just can't happen. Like, here's the deal about Saquon Barkley. Again, I think that he ended up taking a team-friendly deal, a massive team-friendly deal. Don't look at Saquon's like salary or his average annual salary as like what he genuinely is worth. He ultimately ended up taking something that was, okay, I'm finally going to go to a winning team. Because in retrospect, he probably should have been a hell of a lot closer to Christian McCaffrey than $12.5 million average, like annual salary, right? So I like that example, but I don't like that example at the exact same time because I think that there's further context that needs to be brought up, right? Man, wish I can stay on. I just dropped in to give a like. I'll listen later. Much love. Live, Live. I appreciate you, man. Hope all is well. Hope all is well, man. Having him not to be able to block takes him out of the game and keys the opposing defense into what the offense is doing. I mean, yes and no, right? I think this Buffalo Bills team has every intention of bringing James Cook back of course, in 2025, simply because we ended up bringing back our sixth offensive lineman in Alec Anderson. Like, Buffalo runs a lot of jumbo package, like regardless of whether or not that it's a pass play and or a run play. So, like, you don't necessarily need a quality blocking running back, right? Like, we have Ty Johnson. He's solid. Like, he's solid for like certain situations. We have, of course, with Dawson Knox, who's a solid blocker, and we typically have 6 offensive linemen out there in jumbo packages. So I wouldn't let him walk just because he can't block, because that's not something that Joe Brady's offense asks him to do, right? Like, we have a solid offensive coordinator, solid offensive mind, like right behind that. But like, having a running back that is crazy at blocking is really not necessary with the sort of offense that Joe Brady runs. But I mean, listen, I feel you. I get you. Yo, Swooty, y'all. Okay. Anyway, we have Jimbo. After this season, don't re-sign him. This draft, go out and draft a running back. This class is really, really good. I think James Cook is going to be right on this team in 2025, whether or not that we decide to sign him to the contract that he is looking for, or whether or not that he just has to play on his last year of his rookie contract and we revisit the conversation afterwards. But I mean, we're going to have to see. Hey, Dad, it's Mike Bridges starting up a sports channel. Yes, dude. I love that. I love that, man. Listen, best of luck. Say that you need any advice. Let me know. But I will tell you what, as far as sports content creation, the key is absolute obsessive consistency and discipline. There is going to be a long journey of times where you were putting out content that nobody watches, but like, you need to be obsessed and you need to be disciplined and make sure you stay as consistent as humanly possible. It's very much a vicious cycle of work, nothing happens, but you get a little better. Work, nothing happens, but you get a little better, until finally work, boom. That's how it works out, man. Like, honestly, dude, like, I was doing this for about 2 years and like nobody watched. Nobody. It's all about being obsessive, and it's all about consistently showing up each and every single day. All it takes is one video. It's literally a lottery. Go Bills, go Dogs. Absolutely. Mike Bridges. That's my guy, dude. He's coming on in. Buffalo motivated. D. Mitchell going ham on the content. LFG. Hey, baby, you already know what time it is, man. You already know what time it is. Cook is not a third down back. All the heavy hitters block well and are all in on the downs. Dexy, if we let Cook walk, our running back room is Ray Davis and Frank Gore Jr. I don't know if I'd be happy with that, but not the worst. And can't forget about Ty Johnson, who is a pending free agent, but I would like to bring him back on a reasonable deal. Cook is acting like he'll hold out. He's on average at the halfway point in a fullback career. He can't afford to not play. Bills have him in a corner. I think that he'll agree to like 12 million. And that I'm completely fine with. Trade him to the Browns with a first for Garrett. I'm not sure if that would work, man. We would need a couple of more firsts. Bills have to pay Cook because we can't go through Allen's prime years hoping rookies can carry us. And here's another interesting wrinkle, like right to this, right? We love that a part of Josh Allen's game is his ability to run and use his legs and to further extend plays and to go and like get those like really chippy, like third down conversions. Guys, I hate to tell you this, but like we probably have about 2 more years of that. Maybe. Like 2 more years of Josh being able to utilize his legs as much as he has for the past couple of years. Like we are genuinely going to need a solid run game for Josh as he starts creeping into his 30s. I think that that's what we need. Use some of that Doge money Elon found and pay the man. Bills chick. If I were Brandon Beane, I wouldn't think twice about paying him. He is essential to our team. So it's funny, right? Because I feel like nobody's right about this argument, right? I feel like nobody's right about this argument. Like there's some people who are saying, oh, it's James Cook. He's nothing. He's not a big asset right to this team. I think those people are significantly wrong. But then I also think the people that are coming in saying, oh my God, like we will absolutely suck if James Cook is not on this roster. We better pay him whatever he wants. I think those people are also wrong. I think that we do need to bring him back, but at a more reasonable deal, right? I think that without 15 million average annual, I think what he's truly looking for is guarantees, like guaranteed money of said contract. If we can give him, right, like what Spot Track is saying that he's worth, it's about like $30 million. If we could give him like a 3-year deal at $10.2 million, right, average annual salary, but we guarantee like 20 million of it, right, or 18 or 19 million dollars of it, I think he'd be happy, right? I think he would be significantly happy about that. It's not necessarily about average annual. Like what players really care about is what the hell is hitting their bank account the moment that they sign a contract. I think that's kind of where we're at. Use the money you can save for defense if you look at it and their defense isn't good on paper. Dustin, love Cook. And so I think he's perfect for this offense. Good vision and one-cut downhill runner. Does he really fit many other offenses that he can flourish it through? I mean, honestly, that is a debate, right? Like we have a very, very, very good offensive line. And one other thing too, like some people are just like, oh yeah, like we had the same offensive line for the past couple of years. We really didn't. Like last year when he had 1,100 yards, like we had Mitch Morse as our center. And I'm talking about 2023, right? And we had a rookie right guard in, of course, with Osiris Torrance, right? Left guard was different. And then this year we have a great one. So like he's put up 2 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons on a somewhat different offensive line back-to-back years as well, right? Something to consider. It's not something that I think that we could really have like a solid conversation with. We have Rance is saying Bean never trades up. He needs to. Pat Woody is saying give Gore Jr. a chance. Oh man, 5'7" Frank Gore Jr. Hey, listen, man, I'd love to see it. If he could be anything like his father, then I would sign up. Personally, I'd make it a requirement. Cook cuts his hair to stay on the team. And people were pulling him down from his dreads last year, and they were hanging down to his ass. Yeah, dude, that was dirty, man. Like, wildly dirty of defenders doing that too. Nah, man. And so he can keep his braids. Hey, Dan, if we can't keep Cook, what are your thoughts on Najee Harris? First off, I do think that Cook will be on this team, regardless of if he has a contract or not. But in an alternate reality, if, for example, that Buffalo can't come to an agreement with James Cook, then I would be fine with Najee Harris. I would be fine with J.K. Dobbins as well. And then really just handing the reins over to Ray Davis because we would need a replacement for Cook, right? Like we would need a replacement for him because we need a running back by committee, a third down back sort of situation or a three running back backfield at any given moment on various situational drives. So, yeah, I mean, I would be fine with that. And both of them are very, very affordable. I think he is a good asset, but not essential. And I don't think he is worth 15 million playing the amount of snaps that he does. I mean, listen, that is the debate right now. That is the debate. But I have a feeling that we're going to sign him, but it's going to be closer to about 10 or 11, right? And just hawk up those damn guarantees, guys. Like, honestly, for the love of God, like we're talking about an NFL that just saw a $30 million increase in one season by itself. So I don't know. Who knows what the NFL salary cap is going to be in 2 to 3 years if we backload a contract for James Cook and all of these pending players that need contract extensions. It could be an absolute non-issue, which I'm completely fine with. Cook is not getting 15 million anywhere. He is not the second best running back in the NFL. He is really good. He does not block, and that is why he was not on the field with the game on the line in passing set. So a couple of things here, right? Very much like the quarterback market, all markets in this league are different, right? Like, why do we think that there are currently 12 quarterbacks that are getting paid more than Josh Allen at this very moment, right? It has to do with salary caps increasing. It has to do with all of these agents being hell of negotiators. Like currently, like look at it. Like there are 12 QBs right now that are getting paid more than Josh Allen on an average annual value. Hence why I think Josh Allen's also about to be up for a massive extension this offseason because his guarantees run out in 2026. But that's a video for another time. Running backs are the exact same way. And I think Saquon Barkley really sort of confused people because they see 12.5 million and they're just like, oh man, look at that. There's no way that James Cook deserves more than Saquon Barkley. But Saquon Barkley took a team-friendly deal because he wanted to win. In reality, I think Saquon, if he were to go anywhere else outside of Philadelphia, if he was just bag chasing, he probably would have got a deal very similar to what Christian McCaffrey received, around 18, 19 million average annual salary. So don't compare what James Cook is asking for or confuse that he is trying to insinuate that he is a Saquon Barkley, right? Because Saquon would have gotten a deal very close to Christian McCaffrey if he went bag chasing and he wasn't just shipped over to Philadelphia, right? That's kind of my thoughts there. Cook is my dog, but he hasn't earned 15 million. I can understand 10 million plus incentives. I can understand him making more than 8 million though. A lot of history right in this country of people telling other people to cut. I mean, I really think that was innocent, but here we are. I think running back is a position that you draft every year or every other year. Same with receiver and defensive line. Salvi is saying Bean has price to take it or leave it. Bean has his price, take it or leave it. I agree. So Saquon is getting 12.5 million a year and Cook wants 15 million. I don't think he's worth it. Maybe we can get him down to 12 million minimum. Yes, I would love 12 million a year, but again, don't confuse the Saquon Barkley contract for what he is truly worth. I don't know. He seems to be in elite back even with that. Same for Henry. All right, guys, let's chill on that conversation, right? So like here's the deal. I am toning back on like some of the trolls in here. I love trolls. It's fun. It's good during my live like sort of game reactions. But say that someone rolls in here and is just wildly off topic and just is like causing fights with people in the chat. Like that just ruins the show, especially for people that are watching the replay of it. So I I love each and every single one of you that come in here and vibe with me and rock with me. But we are changing the dynamic of the live chat. We are trying to make it a more enjoyable watching experience, especially for people that are tuning in on the replay. So all I ask is don't try your best not to engage with the trolls. And trolls, if like you get like super annoying, then like you're just gonna have to be timed out. And then after several timeouts, then I'll just ban you at the end of the day. But we will see. Cook is 16, 17 million minimum. Get paid young. I totally agree with you. Well, 16, 17, 12, 13, I think is more around there. Yo, Swooty. 12, 13 is more around there. I feel bad for Cook because this is a loaded draft for running back and he can get someone cheaper. Senke is coming on in and saying when Diggs, Gabe, Coleman choked, Cook steps up to the plate. He does. Listen, it is a perfect situation. So for people saying 12, not 15, and there isn't even a difference at that point, Cook's worth 15 and he's going to be worth more. I don't get our fan base. We never want to pay our guys. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. It's really not a lot of money, right? This year in 2024, if he plays on his said contract, he's having a base salary of $4 million, and that goes against our books immediately. Us extending him, right? Like us extending him saves us money this year. And if we were to put a lot of that right into a signing bonus as well, like his cap hit would be like, I don't know, like $12 million per year, like $13, $14 million per year, like one of the two. So it, like really in the grand scheme of things, 15 million really isn't a big ask, especially since this league doesn't value the running back position in general, right? Like running back contracts are not going to make you go broke, folks. Like what makes teams go broke are shitty and irresponsible contracts to a quarterback that can't get it done. That's what makes teams go broke. Or an edge rusher that gets like north of 40 million a year, $38 million a year average annual salary that doesn't produce. Like those are the contracts that make you go broke. I promise you, a running back contract is not going to financially harm the Buffalo Bills in any which way. Right? Oh, man. That's me. Dan, the hard part is that you're paying Dawson Knox about $14 million and James Cook is easily better and contributes more to the offense. That is also something that you can put into consideration, folks. Like we can look at a couple of contracts on this team and ask ourselves, hey, who is contributing more, James Cook or this person, right? Like, in fact, I think that's actually a very interesting exercise. Over the cap, let's do over the cap Buffalo Bills. I'm curious. I'm very curious. And this is actually a great exercise that we can put up right here. Why it's 15, why it's 10, why it's 12. All right. Let's see. Where's the AAV at, bro? All right, so cap number we can put up. Like, would you say that Gregory Rousseau is more of an asset rate to this team than James Cook? Right? So would you say that Dawson Knox is more of an asset rate to this team? And so do you say that Matt Milano is more of an asset to this team currently where it is? It could be debatable, right? He's more than Daquan Jones, more than Connor McGovern, more than Curtis Samuel. Look at that, right? Spencer Brown, maybe, but he's probably due. You have Taron Johnson, AJ Epenesa's at 7, right? So I think when you look at like key contributors and you look at cap numbers, like we start off with Josh, no. Like, is he more valuable to the team than Von Miller? I think that we can all agree. Is he more valuable to the team than Ed Oliver? I think that we can agree that he is. Is he more valuable than Deion Dawkins? No, I love Deion Dawkins. He's probably like one of the most slept on left tackles in the NFL. So we can't be upset about this. But like, there are several players on this team that I would probably say that James Cook is a hell of a lot more valuable to the success of this team than some of the guys that are south of $10 million and a couple of them that are north of like 15, right? Like 15 million for Matt Milano. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping that Matt Milano can come back and get what's. Uh, Imagine if Genty falls to us. I'm good on that. And so I'm not going to go on ahead and draft a running back in the first round. So y'all can max out Josh and play with the structure. He's good enough for that and worth it. I'll tell you what, bro. So I'll tell you what. I am anticipating that we get some crazy ass contract for Josh this offseason. His guarantees run out in 2026. He just won the MVP. And the last thing we want to do is have him play one more year and then he balls out again. And then he becomes like a damn like shit, right? Like a 70 million a year sort of quarterback. You know what I mean? So get it done now, make him happy, and then figure it out. What about a corner? We have Jonathan Jones. Spot Track has him at 2.8 million, 2 years, 5.6. I'm not a big Jonathan Jones guy. I do like Asante Samuel Jr. and I do like a couple of other potential dudes that we can bring in. And didn't Dalvin Cook do the same thing and he was trash for the next few years? He was good after he got the contract, but then afterwards he kind of hit a wall. At 56, I'm not sure if he'd fall that much, but Cook is a general. He's a number 2 only to Allen. I think he deserves the 15. Doc Holliday's coming in. With James Cook, 10 million raise could be used for guys like Javon Holland or DJ Jones. GM is coming in. He's trying to be that dude. I like RJ Harvey later in the draft. I'm going to have to take a look at some of these guys. I really, really am. And shout out Scott, dude. Scott is always in here throwing funds over at the Dom Mafia channel, man. Like every time I'm live, Scott's in here with a super chat. And I do want to give you a massive shout out because you've been so generous ever since I've started this YouTube journey, man. And I really appreciate all of the support that you throw my way. Folks, easiest way to support my channel, and obviously what Scott does is just going above and beyond, is quite simply just by smashing that like button for me. It's free. It takes less than a second. And it shows the YouTube algorithm that you are vibing with your boy Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST and 5:15 p.m. EST. But damn. All right, folks. I love each and every single one of you. I sincerely appreciate you tuning in, always making it a part of your daily routine or your morning coffee, if you will. Subscribe, right? And turn on bell notifications, especially those of you that are watching the replay, because I want to make sure that you are a part of our live chat community one day. I love each and every single one of you. I would not be here without you. I would not have the platform that I have without you. And we'll see you a little later this afternoon. Happy Friday. Hope you have a great lineup of events to attend this weekend. And we'll see you here a little later this afternoon. Deuces.